So last week, we went over some of the worst TNA matches that took place at the Rebellion pay-per-view, ranging from matches that took place during the pandemic to bouts filled with outside interference or controversial wrestlers. That being said, this yearly event has also seen TNA produce some of the best matches in recent history. As you can imagine, this list was hard to narrow down, but after much thought and re-watching several of these matches back, we've managed to make what we believe is a solid top 10. Welcome to Lace 'em Up Media. And here are the 10 best Rebellion matches in TNA wrestling. Number 10. Tessa Blanchard vs. Gail Kim, Rebellion 2019. Putting aside the scandals that have surrounded her career in recent times, Tessa Blanchard was, by the late 2010s, the most in-demand wrestler of the modern era, which made it all the more impressive that TNA was able to sign her to a contract which opened the door for her to have matches like this one from the inaugural Rebellion pay-per-view. For about 13 minutes, Tessa uses her raw power to overpower her opponent, but Gail is able to use her speed and resiliency to get the better of Blanchard. The match ends in shocking fashion as Gail not only lost this match via submission, but Tessa's embrace with her father Tully, who was sitting in the front row, and this led to an unexpected face turn by the third-generation star. While this match will be remembered for being Gail's first match since 2017 and the beginning of Tessa's transition into fighting the male side of the locker room, this was a good showing from both ladies, including Gail Kim, who certainly proved she still got it. Number 9. Jay White vs. Steve Maclin vs. Chris Sabin, Rebellion 2022. The 2022 event is often seen as a one-match show as there's only one bout that anyone really remembers. And don't worry, we'll get to that later. Even still, there were a few diamonds in the rough like this opening match which sees Steve Maclin, Chris Sabin, and Jay White in a three-way match which ended up becoming Maclin's coming-out party in terms of elevating his career to the next level. This bout really played into the strengths of all three men, with White's calculated patience in the early moments until the time was right to take advantage. Sabin's lightning-fast offense kept the pace of the match feeling frenetic, and Maclin's no-nonsense style of wrestling saw a lot of power moves being used by the former Forgotten Son. In terms of three-way matches at Rebellion, this was certainly impressive, and also a great way to build Steve Maclin's momentum going into the main event scene. Number 8. Taya Valkyrie vs. Jordynne Grace, Rebellion 2019. While Tessa Blanchard and Rosemary are often seen as Taya's greatest rivals in TNA, another name that deserves that recognition is Jordynne Grace, the bodybuilder and pro wrestler who feuded with Taya between 2019 and 2020. In one of their more overlooked encounters, both women faced off for the TNA Knockouts title, and things looked to be in favor of Jordynne until Taya began targeting Grace's arm in order to neutralize her power game. Grace, even at this stage, had the makings of a superstar as she was able to shine alongside the champ throughout this near 9-minute bout. Taya's strategy of injuring her opponent's arms ultimately led to her escaping with the gold, but their feud was far from over. Number 7. The Lucha Brothers vs. LAX, Rebellion 2019. If you only know the team of Santana and Ortiz from their time in All Elite Wrestling, then you seriously missed out, as their time in TNA from 2017 to 2019 saw them run the tag team division as part of the Latin American Exchange. In what might be the best match on the card, fans bared witness to the conclusion of LAX rivalry with Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix in a Full Metal Mayhem match for the Impact World Tag Team titles. This match is an example of high-flying, super-kicking, tag team synergy at its finest, with both teams holding nothing back in order to become the tag team champions, and wrapped up the first Rebellion event in spectacular fashion. Number 6. TJP vs. Ace Austin vs. Josh Alexander, Rebellion 2021. As I briefly alluded to during the number 9 entry, three-way matches at Rebellion tend to be an unintentional hallmark, but when it involves the X Division Championship, then it tends to be one of the best things about any Rebellion pay-per-view. Out of the many that have taken place, the opening contest at Rebellion 2021 takes this spot because, much like Steve Maclin in 2022, it helped to launch the career of Josh Alexander from tag team wrestler to eventual main event star. Your appreciation of this match may also depend on if you can tolerate the fact this took place during the pandemic with no crowds in attendance, but all three men refused to let that stop them as bodies are flying or being tossed around in this contest right up until the final bell, with Josh winning his first and only X Division Championship and kicking off Rebellion in style. Number 5. Rich Swann vs. Kenny Omega, Rebellion 2021. At first glance, this match should be a lot higher on this list. However, AEW's inability to promote the match on their programming and the fact there were a few botches in the match ranks it number 5 on here. You would be hard-pressed to find any Kenny Omega match post-2017 that didn't deliver in some form, and it certainly did in this one-on-one match, as the amount V-triggers that Omega hits on Swan makes you hope and pray that Rich doesn't end up with CTE following this. Swan certainly proved himself against Omega, as he was able to keep the AEW World Champion at bay in various parts of the match, and almost looked like he could have become AEW's new World Champion with how close some of the near falls were. A fantastic main event, an amazing piece of wrestling history, and further cemented Omega as one of the greatest wrestlers of a generation. Shame the rest of the partnership didn't turn out this great. Number 4. The ABC vs. the Motor City Machine Guns. Rebellion 2023. 2023 was a year that, among other things, reminded the wrestling world that TNA was more than capable in producing some incredible tag team matches that could compete with other promotions like AEW and WWE. Another great opening contest at Rebellion sees the Motor City Machine Guns taking on Chris Bay and Ace Austin for the prestigious tag team titles in an Ultimate X match. While neither of the 4 men involved are strangers to Ultimate X matches, Shelley and Sabin did come in with the advantage, as they've not only been in more Ultimate X matches, but they've also competed and won in an Ultimate X tag team match against Beer Money back in 2010. The action is fluent, fast-paced, and entertaining, with this match going non-stop by the opening bell, plus it's filled with memorable spots, including the finishing sequence, which helps to make this one of the all-time best opening matches in the show's history. Number 3. Team Bully vs. Team Dreamer. Rebellion 2023. The feud between Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer in 2023 was easily one of the worst in company history, as fans didn't want to see the aging ECW legends wrestle each other. So when it was announced that a hardcore war was set to take place at Rebellion and both men were the team captains, absolutely nobody wanted to see this. So imagine everyone's surprise when this potential stinker of a match turned out to be one of the best matches of the entire year. For over 25 minutes, the match is filled to the brim with spots that are funny and heavy on the action, as both sides made a standard multiple-person match into a highlight reel. While Dreamer's team came out victorious in this match, the biggest stars to come out of it was Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly, who carried on this animosity into their dog collar match at Against All Odds and soon formed the tag team, MK Ultra, not long afterwards. Number 2. Jordynne Grace vs. Deonna Purrazzo. Rebellion 2023. A match that sees Grace and Purrazzo wrestle inside a TNA ring with fans in attendance, and it took place in the main event. You really can't ask for more than that. So the story going into this match is that Mickie James was supposed to defend the Knockouts Championship against Jordynne Grace, but an injury on Mickie's part saw the match getting scrapped and James would vacate the belt weeks later. Meanwhile, Deonna Purrazzo won a number 1 contenders match for a shot at the title. Jordynne gets a rematch for the belt at Rebellion, and combine this with the fact that Deonna has always beaten Jordynne every time they wrestled, and the possibility of Grace turning heel in the weeks after her loss to Mickie at Hard to Kill made things all the more interesting. When we finally got to the match itself, it was everything you'd expect from these two. Solid in-ring work, crowd investment, and their contrast in styles never fails to be a joy to watch. Purrazzo once again defeated Grace for the Knockouts Championship, but it would be Jordynne who had the last laugh, as she was able to defeat Deonna a few months later at the Victory Road event, thus finally defeating her rival. Number 1. Moose vs. Josh Alexander. Rebellion 2022. Josh Alexander's road to redemption culminating with him beating the man who ruined his biggest career moment. How could this not be number 1? For almost 24 minutes, Moose and Alexander beat the crap out of each other, and the emotions running in this match are at a fever pitch, as everything in this bout is iconic. From Josh making his entrance alongside his son, who's dressed up like his dad, the stare down in the opening moments, Moose repeatedly throwing Josh into the guardrails, Alexander kicking out of the champion's offense before defiantly throwing his headgear right at the champion. Heck, we even get the moment of Josh hitting a Styles Clash onto Moose, which had everyone up to their feet in shock and enjoyment. A C4 spike by Alexander, a 3 count, and Tom Hannafans now legendary screaming of the word, "finally," as the match comes to a close. It's a wonderful match and easily ranks as one of the best, if not the greatest, world title matches in recent history. And that's our list. What do you think was the best match to take place at Rebellion? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments section, and don't forget to follow us on our socials, both on X and Bluesky Social, to be updated on new content.